Breaking news! The Ravens confirmed it. Some fans celebrated, but others didn't like this decision by the board. The Baltimore Ravens are making moves, and although it may not be the blockbuster signing that some fans expect, the team is taking strategic steps as it prepares for next season. An old Ravens acquaintance was re-signed in the last few hours. But before I tell you all the details, make sure you've already hit the like button if you're a true Denver Broncos fan. There are people here who have been Ravens fans for over 10, 15, 20, 25 years. It's great to see fans of all ages. Comment below, how long have you been a Baltimore Ravens fan? If possible, comment like this: "My heart bleeds purple and black." Now, a decision that has generated controversy behind the scenes. Keith Kirkwood is back in Baltimore. The veteran wide receiver who spent the 2024 season on the Ravens practice squad was re-signed as the team built its 90-man roster in the offseason. Now, let's be real. This isn't the kind of signing that's going to set the league on fire. Kirkwood isn't a household name, and this move isn't about landing a game-changing player. Instead, it's about depth, preparation, and ensuring that when training camp starts, the Ravens have reliable options to evaluate. Kirkwood has bounced around the league, spending time with New Orleans and Carolina before joining Baltimore, but the team clearly saw enough of him last season to warrant another opportunity. What does this mean for the Ravens' wide receiver room? Realistically, barring something unexpected, Kirkwood is most likely going to be competing for a practice squad spot again. Baltimore's receiving core still has major questions heading into 2025, and while fans continue to clamor for a true WR1 to pair with Zay Flowers, the Ravens' front office has chosen to take a cautious approach, at least so far. But that's not the only thing on the minds of Ravens fans right now. The conversation around Lamar Jackson continues to dominate discussions, especially in the wake of another playoff loss. The frustration is understandable. Once again, the Ravens had a team talented enough to make a deep run, and once again, they fell short. This time, it was against the Buffalo Bills, a game that left many wondering, will Lamar Jackson ever get over the hump? Now let's be clear, Lamar wasn't the sole reason Baltimore lost. Mistakes were made across the board. Turnovers, penalties, and questionable execution in key moments all contributed to the Ravens' downfall. But when you're the quarterback, especially a former MVP, the expectations are sky high. Fair or not, until Lamar leads Baltimore to a championship, the narrative surrounding him won't change. One of the most talked about plays from that Bills game was the fumbled snap. We've seen Lamar turn broken plays into magic countless times before, but this time, it didn't work out. That's the razor-thin margin for error in the playoffs. One misstep can end your season. It's frustrating because we know Lamar has what it takes. We've seen him put this team on his back. But playoff football is different. It demands perfection, and the Ravens just haven't been able to reach that level when it matters most. And that leads to another heated debate: Mark Andrews. Some fans are calling for the Ravens to move on from him. The frustration is understandable. He's been a crucial part of this offense, but his playoff performances haven't always matched his regular season dominance. Andrews is still under contract for another year, but with Isaiah likely emerging as a legitimate weapon, the Ravens have a tough decision to make. Do they stick with Andrews, hoping he finally delivers in the postseason, or do they turn the page and let Likely take on a bigger role? This isn't just about the tight end position, it's about the future of this team. The Ravens have major financial decisions looming. Kyle Hamilton, for example, is going to need to get paid soon. Every move Baltimore makes this offseason has to be calculated. They can't afford to get sentimental. It's about putting together a team that can win in January and February, not just rack up wins in the regular season.
And that brings us to John Harbaugh. Some fans believe that as long as he's the head coach, Lamar Jackson will never win a championship. That's a bold claim. And while Harbaugh has his flaws, this loss wasn't on him. Coaching plays a role, no doubt, but execution on the field is what lost the game against Buffalo. Harbaugh isn't perfect, and there are things he could have done differently, but pinning the Ravens' playoff struggles entirely on him ignores the bigger picture. So where does this leave Baltimore? The offseason is just beginning, and the Ravens have a lot of work to do. The road to San Francisco, where the next Super Bowl will be played, starts now. The front office has tough choices to make. Do they invest heavily in a top-tier wide receiver? Do they restructure their offensive approach? Can they keep their defense dominant while managing the salary cap? One thing is for sure, this team isn't far off. The Ravens are right there, knocking on the door, but almost isn't good enough. Not anymore. Ravens fans are tired of moral victories. It's time for this franchise to take that next step. So let's hear it. What do you think Baltimore needs to do this offseason? Is Lamar the guy to get it done? Should the Ravens stick with Mark Andrews? Or is it time to move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this discussion is just getting started. The Ravens front office has made it clear they aren't going to overreact to another playoff disappointment. But let's be honest, something has to change. Baltimore has built a team capable of competing at the highest level, yet every time they get to the playoffs, they run into the same brick wall. Whether it's execution, injuries, or just bad luck, the results speak for themselves. And for a franchise that prides itself on being a perennial contender, that's not acceptable. One of the biggest questions heading into this offseason is how the Ravens plan to support Lamar Jackson. This team has built its offense around him for years, and while he's been an MVP-level talent, he hasn't had the consistent help that other top quarterbacks have benefited from. Yes, Zay Flowers looks like a future star. Yes, Isaiah likely stepped up big in Andrews' absence. But is that enough? Let's take a hard look at Baltimore's receiving core. The Ravens have tried, year after year, to find the right mix of weapons for Lamar. Marquise Brown came and went. Rashad Bateman has flashed potential but hasn't lived up to his first-round billing. Odell Beckham Jr. was brought in as a veteran presence, but he wasn't the game-changer many had hoped for. And now, here we are again, staring at an offseason where fans are demanding a true number one wide receiver. But will the Ravens actually go out and get one? That's where things get complicated. The team doesn't have unlimited cap space, and with other priorities, like keeping their defense intact, they have to be smart about their spending. Trading for an elite receiver would cost valuable draft capital, and the Ravens haven't shown a willingness to make that kind of aggressive move. So if Baltimore doesn't go big in free agency or via trade, it means they'll likely be looking to the draft once again. And that's where the frustration builds. How many times can this team take swings at the position without landing a true game changer? The Ravens' track record with drafting wide receivers isn't great, and expecting an immediate impact from a rookie might not be realistic. This is the reality Baltimore faces. They need to give Lamar help, but finding the right pieces isn't as easy as fans make it sound. Speaking of roster decisions, let's talk about the defense. The Ravens had one of the best units in the league last season, but maintaining that dominance won't be easy. Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton are foundational pieces, but the team has other defenders who are set to hit free agency. If Baltimore wants to stay elite on that side of the ball, they'll need to make some tough choices. One name that keeps coming up is Patrick Queen. The former first-round pick had his best season in 2024, forming one of the league's top linebacker duos with Roquan Smith. But now, with Queen's rookie contract expiring, the Ravens are in a bind. Do they pay up to keep him, or do they let him walk and trust their ability to develop another young linebacker? It's a difficult decision. Queen has earned a big payday, but Baltimore has other priorities, like extending Kyle Hamilton in the near future. If the Ravens can't afford to keep Queen, they'll have to find a replacement, and that won't be easy. This is a defense that thrived on speed and aggression, and losing a playmaker like Queen would hurt. Another area of concern is the pass rush. The Ravens had success generating pressure last season, but with Jadeveon Clowney and other key contributors potentially leaving, they'll need reinforcements. Baltimore has always found ways to scheme up pressure, but at some point, they need a dominant, consistent edge rusher. That's something they haven't had since Terrell Suggs, and if they don't address it, they risk taking a step back defensively.